Hi everybody, my name is Michelle and welcome to this video from the city of Ryde. Today we're going to make art from waste so that you can join in and make some artworks for the Sustainable Waste to Art Prize, SWAP, which is celebrating 10 years this year. Today we're going to be making waste warriors, and if you'd like to look below, there'll be a link for the educational resource and also the worksheet to help you along. Waste warriors is all about assemblage, and assemblage is a 3D construction of all different types of objects coming together. So depending on what your idea is, you'll need to start by making an armature. An armature is a structure or a skeleton that's going to give your waste warrior some shape. So if you would like to make something small, you might like to start with maybe some straws. If you want something with a little bit more structure and that can move, you might like to use some pipe cleaners. You can work up to wire, and then you can have something that's made out of coat hangers. So first of all, we need to get our workspace ready and get your materials. So you have a space where you can cut and twist. You might need some goggles or some gloves, and maybe some clamps as well. You'll also need maybe some wire cutters if you're planning to make something big. If you're using a knife, make sure that you've got a metal ruler. You might need to have some help from an adult or even a friend so that you can both twist the wire. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make an assemblage just using recycled items that you would have at home in your waste or your recycling bin. So I've found an egg carton, I've got different types of tubes, and I've also got these fabulous little cone shapes that I thought I'd use. I've got some scrunched newspaper ready so that I can fill up my different sections, and also some paper plates. So I'm thinking that my waste warrior might be kind of a crocodile-inspired creature. I'm going to use the egg cartons and also these little tubes. I thought they might make great legs. I'm also going to use my cones so that it can have a head, but also maybe some horns on its back as well. So in order for all of my cardboard to stay together, I need to stuff it with some newspaper to fill up all these holes, and also use some masking tape to attach it all together. So I've got some newspaper that I've scrunched up already. Anything that's soft, that's around the home is perfect. If you've got some junk mail or some old wrapping, put whatever you can in. There's all different sizes of masking tape, so in terms of sustainability, try to use the least amount as possible so that you've got extra resources to share with somebody else. So I'm going to fill these tubes with some scrunched up newspaper. That'll give it some extra structure and it will help attach it to the egg cartons. And this one's a little bit shorter, so I'm going to have to use a little bit more newspaper to make sure that it's even height. Flatten them down, and now I can start to tape them on. So I'm going to use my small tape to start with. I'm going to do a big one all over the top. We're just checking, seeing how it looks. So things won't be perfect at this stage, but you're wanting to just make sure that the shape is something that you're happy with. We're going to add some more scrunched paper to give it more shape and definition, and we'll be wrapping it up in fabric later. So as long as the basic skeleton is looking good, then let's keep going. So now I've got my waste warrior put together. I thought it was going to be an alligator or a crocodile, but actually now I look at it, it's totally changed, and that's fine. As soon as you start putting things together, your materials will talk to you and they'll tell you what they would like to be transformed into. So if you have an idea and it changes, that's perfectly fine. So here he is. He's got his nose, he's got a few horns. I've also put in some scrunched up newspaper to give it more of a shape to its body, and also so that you can't see that it's an egg carton in underneath. So now I've got some strips of fabric, and this fabric is perfect because it has some stretch in it. So it's going to enable me to wrap up my waste warrior nice and tight. So it doesn't really matter where you start, but you're wanting to essentially wrap all that paper together so that it won't come off. So pulling it nice and tight, tucking it in, when you get to the end. So again, this is not about making your waist warrior look beautiful. It's just about keeping it all together. And keep going until it's totally wrapped up. So now I've got my waist warrior totally wrapped up with fabric, and that's going to give me the perfect space to glue things to, stitch things to, and attach things to. So here are some fruit wrappers that I've collected off my fruit and vegetables in the shops. They can be stretched out and they can be torn. They can even hang down as well. This is some industrial letterbox numbers that are all excess. They could be made into different patterns. They'd be good to sew through the holes. I've got some buttons. They might like to be eyes. These ones are broken earrings. So have a look through your home and see what you've got. I have some excess industrial lids. These ones are quite beautiful. Over here, it's little strips of plastic with circles in it, so they could be very effective for making patterns. I also have a collection of lids. With these, you might like to use a metal skewer or a drill if you have one to put holes in them, and that will help you attach them to your waist warrior. There's also some excess florist ribbon. This is really great. You can tear it into little strips. Have a look for something like a raffia. You can again use this to bind over your entire creature so that it gives it more of a natural feel. And also don't forget about just the plastic packaging that you would have in your home. You also sometimes might need to use a spray glue, and that will cover a large surface area and it will also hold nice and strong. Another thing, if you'd like to choose a non-toxic option, is to bind things or to wrap them. So these are just some beautiful colours of twine and embroidery thread, and that might become part of the detail. So let your heart go wild and find ways to make your waist warrior come to life. Once you've done it, please submit your entry to the Swap Art Award, and also follow the links below with the hashtags and show us what you've made with your Swap Waist to Art project. Thank you.